Making stuff and jacked up.
So we're all recording.
Making stuff and jacked up.
So much.
Making stuff and jacked up. Making stuff and jacked up.
Meadows and Makers podcast.
With Jack Dub
Yeah.
making stuff.
Hello,
Peace.
everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another week of the Meadows and Makers podcast here on MSP Waves. And looks like we might have a little bit of technical issues this morning, but we're going to keep on rolling with the changes, rolling with the times, trying to catch some waves and make it all work out. So today I got a pretty special show for you guys. Some housekeeping things I got to cover up front. Just a disclaimer that this show is for education and entertainment purposes only. This is a podcast, the views and opinions of myself and my guests. Those of my guests do not reflect on the MSP Waves crew. So if you have a complaint, direct them directly at me, and I may or may not address them. But we're here to have a good time. I welcome all you guys, and anything that you guys have, especially for things that I can improve on and things. I'm always open for those suggestions. So throw them at me. And so this is a show that is all about kind of trying to live a more resilient life. I try to bring on people that are makers and doers and building things, and trying to be, kind of an inspirational show, because I feel like we can all unite about some of these things and move toward a better future together. So today, my guest is a longtime buddy of mine. We met in college. We both did our engineering degree together, and we actually ended up working together in a research lab. And he's a jack of all trades. He does a little bit of everything, just like a lot of the people I know. But his name's Charles Boyles, and he has been a volunteer for a First Robotics, which is one of the big robotics competitions in the United States. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about how he got involved in that, and a little bit about himself, and get to know him better and introduce him to the audience. And it's his birthday tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
So how's it going, buddy? And thank you for being on the show.
No problem, man. It's going well, just got back from Worlds competition last weekend, so still recovering from that. Got some of the competition crud built up, but hopefully it won't mess us up too bad.
Oh, so you guys, you were. So where was this competition held?
So the two competitions that we attended this year were the Rocket City Regional, which was located in Huntsville, Alabama, and then we qualified and went to the first Worlds, and that's a worldwide competition. Basically, the best of the best go there to show off what they can do, and it's a very sort of a festival celebrating first and what all these kids have done over the season, and that took place in Houston, Texas. There's also a second one that takes place in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, so yeah, if you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, some of your background, like how did you get involved and started with this first robotics thing?
Okay, my history's kind of a long one. I got involved with FIRST Robotics when I was actually in high school. I was one of the students in the program, and I did it for 4 years and then graduated, went on to engineering school where I did another sort of STEM competition, the NASA rover competition, and then I did the concrete canoe competition. I've built rockets, went for my level 1 certification in that, built UAVs. Then I went off to Colorado for a while where I built prisons and designed prisons from the ground up. And then I'm back here being I was a test engineer for a while, and now I'm a systems engineer. So I've been involved with FIRST since 2007, mentoring. And once I've graduated, I've mentored different teams. I think you just shared a picture of when I was in high school on the team.
Yeah, this is Charles back in the day in high school. So you can see that the guy's been building things for a very long time, and yeah, he's actually one of the guys that taught me quite a bit about composites, and I actually like how to do a lot of different machining work and stuff. We worked together for a while, and yeah, the guy knows how to build stuff. So yeah, talk about the high school days, man. So this was like, when you're dating yourself, but like
just a little bit. So I got involved with the FIRST robotics or the robotics team at my local high school, which I went to Arab High School in Arab, Alabama. So freshman year we started out, we did both the best robotics competition and the FIRST robotics competition. They're two different programs. Best is a much smaller robot with much more limiting rules, and then FRC, which is FIRST robotics competition, is the bigger robots. They're usually 120 pounds, 3 feet by 4 feet by 5 feet tall, and they complete different games. The games change every year. So during my time in high school, we had one game in which we had to manipulate the big yoga balls that you see people sitting on at work nowadays. We had to shoot dodgeballs one year. Another year we had to manipulate inner tubes like you raft down the river in to play tic-tac-toe on a giant board. And then another year we had to manipulate tetrahedras onto different platforms to create play basically another Connect 4 sort of style game. So it changes every year, but that's what I got involved at that point.
So pretty much throughout high school then?
Yes, throughout all high school I was part of the robotics team. That is what defined my high school career. And I got into it mainly because when I was a kid, I'd stay up late and watch
the
Robot Wars and BattleBots. I'd set my alarm to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning to watch the newest episode of BattleBots come on the Comedy Central, much to my parents' dismay. And I just got addicted to robots at that point.
Oh, cool, man.
So
cool.
I did that throughout high school, and we built several, and we went to At that time, it was nationals because it hadn't gone international at that point in time, but now it's gone international and become worlds.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that before the show. You said that it started back in 1999.
Yes, 1999. The first organization just had its 30th birthday, and from its conception, it's actually branched out a lot. So it's the first thing that it really looked into was what they consider FRC, the first robotics competition, which is what I mentor in. Which is the larger robots. But since then, over the years, it's actually grown quite a bit and expanded. First primary goal is to teach children.
Mm-hmm.
We, as an organization, our lifeline is what we call gracious professionalism. And
Okay.
that is the idea that we are all a community, we are all here together, and we're all here to learn. So even at competition, you don't do things that would harm other teams. Your goal is to play your game and do your job, but you want all the other teams there to do well as in addition to your team. So say if my team gets to competition and we go into a match and we break a key component and we didn't bring a spare, first at every competition you can go to the pit admin and they'll make an announcement, hey, does anyone have this spare part for team so-and-so? And any team at the competition is willing to donate that spare part to you to get your robot back on the field, to get it back operational. It really builds a sense of community amongst the teams. Another example of that is this year in particular, a couple of the rookie teams had some real issues with getting their parts in time. So there was 2 events that I know of that the rookie teams showed up with no robot. They showed up with the basic kit of parts, and that's all they had. They didn't have anything put together. They didn't know how to put it together. So at both competitions, all the teams that were there came together and went to the rookies' pit and taught them and walked them through, this is how you build a robot for next year. And at both competitions, before the end of the event, the rookie team was out on the field with a robot that could drive around and attempt some of the different tasks on the field. So
Wow.
it's a community that it's bred into, and it's meant not as...
It's kind of more of like collaboration instead of
Yes.
competition. There is still the competition, but they bring in the collaborative aspect to it as well.
Yes, very much so. And one of the most prestigious awards at the event is actually how much do you help other teams? How many teams have you started in your area? How well have you gotten the word out about FIRST and learning and technology and getting children exposed to this level of technology, of how to program, how to build a robot. And it's not just the technical aspect. First, also, we have competitions that are business-minded. How does your group run their finances? How do you raise money each year to fund all of this? How's your program sustainable? And there's also awards for how have you reached out to the community and helped the community out. So we, I think the winner this year did a project on... what was their project on? I cannot remember off the top of my head, but it was basically reaching out to the community for people with mental illness getting exposed and using robots and technology in this sort of community environment to build up people with some of these mental health issues, to help them get them involved, help them get them back on the right track, get them built up, and give them a skill that they have that's marketable.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool, man. And so the kids that you worked with in the high school group, they're like charged up about doing all this stuff, huh?
Oh yes, they actually got on to me because I asked for a couple weeks off after competition. They were like, what do you mean we can't get together? We want to build this. We want to do this. We want to learn how to build this type of mechanism. So the team I have this year, I've been building... I've been with this team for 2 years. Before that, I was with a team out of Nederland, Colorado. And when I came here, their mechanical ability was quite low. A lot of them didn't know how to use power tools and all that. So it's been a building year over the past 2 years. And this is... Last year we did not perform too well. This year we did very well. And they're all excited now to put all these new skills to test. They want to learn how to build an elevator system, how to build an arm that'll go up 10 feet from starting at 3 feet. and they want to learn and they want to build this and they want to get these skills in their tool bag for next year's competition.
Nice.
So one key point about this competition is they announce the game in January every year.
Okay.
And we compete in March and April. So we have a very limited time frame to actually design, build, and test our robots. So
Wow.
it is
Well, it's like 4 months or 5 months?
6 weeks.
With 6 weeks.
Yes, everything up until this point. Now, this is a transition period for the program because next year they're getting rid of it. Up until this year, you had 6 weeks from game announcement to robot completion.
Wow.
So all the robots you're going to see that I'm going to show in these videos a little bit later were designed, built, and tested by students in 6 weeks.
Wow.
So it's...
But they kind of give you a little bit of help, right? They give you parts, bill of materials or something like that to work with.
You get
or something like that.
when you sign up for the competition and pay the registration fee, you're registered for what is called the standard kit of parts. For rookies, it's a little bit more advanced because they need more equipment. They get additional motor controllers, all the control electronics, and some additional stuff. But as a senior team, you reuse that stuff from the year before. So the kit of parts comes with a basic frame chassis that you can or can't use if you want to use it. It comes with usually 2 of the larger sim motors, which are usually your drivetrain motors. A couple of game pieces, a few pieces certain companies donate, like Mini Motion, Rev Robotics, Andy Mark, donate additional little pieces and things. But basically, you're given the basic frame, some wheels to use, some basic wheels to use, and the electronics to control it. As far as your mechanisms go to interact with things, you've got to build those 100% yourself.
Okay. So, what was the objective for the competition this year? What did you guys have to pull off?
So this year, it was Deep Space was the name of the game. And either I can explain it or there's about a 3-minute YouTube video I can pull up, whichever works best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and if you want to go ahead and look up the YouTube video. We have hilarious things in chat that Professor Bromide said that his daughter is working on a robot that poops M&Ms, and then everybody is speculating on imagining if you pooped candy. So,
so here's
that's how the chat goes on these things sometimes.
So I'm pulling up the quick animation right now, and do they get the volume from this?
Welcome
Yeah.
to the 2019 First
They all
Row
need to let me
Robotics
know if this is too
Competition
loud for you.
and this year's game, Destination Deep Space, presented by the Boeing Company. 2 alliances of deep space travelers race to place hatch panels on their rockets and cargo ship, load valuable cargo for transport off the planet, and return to the safety of their habitat, all before the next sandstorm sweeps through. Each alliance has 2 rockets, 1 cargo ship, and a habitat. Hatch panels and cargo are available through the human player stations, and cargo is also available in the depots adjacent to the habitats. Robots start in their habitat and may be preloaded with 1 game piece. Alliances may also choose to preload some bays of their cargo ship with either hatch panels or cargo. During the first 15 seconds of each match, driver vision of the field will be blocked by a waning sandstorm. So robots must be controlled using either autonomous code or manually with a vision system on the robot. Alliances earn points for exiting the habitat, securing hatch panels, and any cargo that's properly stored. Cargo not secured spills from the cargo ship. As the sandstorm ends, driver vision returns, and alliances continue to earn points by loading their spacecraft. Alliances earn a rank point during qualifying matches for completing 1 rocket with hatch panels and cargo. Near the end of the match, robots return to the safety of their habitat for the upcoming launch and to earn more points. The alliance that earns the most points wins the match.
Cool.
So that was the game for this year. Let me go ahead. Pop that. So we focused our robot this year. We focused on cargo, and actually, we focused on filling up the cargo ship with cargo. So that was our main design focus. We wanted to fill up the cargo ship, make sure that it was completely full, and also climb onto the level 2 hab at the end of the game. So I actually have one of our matches pulled up here that we can play for you guys. But I know right now we're focusing on FRC, the First Robotics Challenge. But before the end of the show, I'm also going to go into the different other programs that First offers as an organization, which is the First Tech Challenge and the First Lego League and First Junior Lego League. So,
Okay.
but before we get into that, I figured we'd finish up wrapping up first. So this is one of our matches from this year. We're Team 538 here, which as soon as it loads, I can see the cursor right. That is us right here on the far end. We're a belt-driven belt drop. One of the neat things about
Go ahead. You're good.
one of the neat things about our robot is it has what is called Mecham Drive. MECCUM? Maybe AM? Not 100% sure. But what that allows is it allows us to not only drive forward and backwards, but drive left, right, along with rotation. So it adds a lot of agility to our robot. And one of the reasons that I brought up this match over the rest is it shows just how versatile we were this year. We actually managed to fill up the entire cargo ship by ourselves, while the other team has 2 robots working to do the same task. So, it was one of our better matches. It was a lot of fun. So, the kids enjoy.
Yeah, sorry about that. We're having a few little technical issues. Hopefully, you guys can hear us all right and everything. If there's some problems, please let me know in the chat. But we'll keep rolling here.
Yeah. So, as you can see, we're bebopping around, dropping off the orange cargo balls left and right, doing what we do best. So,
wow. So. This is cool, man. So it looks like you have like 1 gear motor or something, and then you have like 4 pulley drives or something like that to give you enough. I guess that's to give you enough torque on this thing to get those balls and to load them up in their little containers.
Yes. So our belt mechanism, as you can see, bouncing around, is driven by a single motor with a chain drive to one of our main axles. 2 of the axles are idler axles that the belt just rotates around, and then we have 1 drive axle that drives it through. A lot of research actually went into belt material. You'd be surprised at how expensive it actually is to get a flat belt a specific length. And having the tools to put it together. Because this is a high school program, it's 100% fundraised, and we have a few sponsors here in town that give us $500 to $1,000 every now and then. But this program is not exactly a cheap program to fund, as you can tell by the size of the robots and some of their complexities. So fundraising is a huge part of the program, and trying to raise funds is something that we do often.
So, yeah, so there are. What are the ways that people can get involved with this thing? That people can they can donate to the program as a whole, I guess, and do things like that. And
okay, there's several ways if you want to get involved. 1 second. First Robotics. If you Google First Robotics, you'll notice that firstinspires.org is the first link. That is the first program as a whole. And this is where you can go if you want to help, if you want to get involved in teaching, in promoting these kids learning this technology, learning robotics, learning programming, learning to work as a team. There are several facets in which you can help a FIRST organization out. I am one of the more involved assets. I'm what's called a mentor, which means I volunteer with a team throughout the entirety of build season. I'm there. I teach the children how to build. My role in particular is mechanical. Our team is divided into two sides, mechanical and bee-boops. We have a mentor for both.
What's bee-boops?
Bee-boops is electronic. If it goes bee-boop, it's their problem. If it doesn't go bee-boop, it's my problem. It's a very, very hard line there. But there's also, excuse me, we need, first as an organization, we need volunteers at events. And that goes from, before we go much further into this, let's go ahead and roll into the first as a whole. So the first organization started out with FRC and has evolved from there. I'm sorry.
Robots playing soccer. Nice, Patient Zero.
But they've evolved since then from just doing... So FRC is a high school level competition, grades 9 through 12. Since First has grown and grown and grown, at this point we've actually delved into 4 different programs. We have First Lego League Junior, First Lego League, First Tech Challenge, and FRC. FRC is what I've been talking about so far. First Tech Challenge is one step down from FRC as far as money involved in... it's usually a smaller robot, usually about 2 feet by 2 feet. I think it's up to like 41 pounds now as their weight limit. And it's designed for, I think it's 7th through 12th grade. And that team does not need to be involved. It doesn't have to be a school-sponsored event. It can be a group of children you gather in your neighborhood, a group of homeschooled children. You can form together and create a team. And that applies to all the teams I'm about to talk about. The next organization is what's called First Lego League, which is designed for 5th grade through 8th grade, if I remember properly. I'm not as involved with these, so I apologize if my information turns out to be incorrect. But and that is where you build a robot based off the game, a released game, out of Legos using the Lego Mindstorm brain. And you program it and design different attachments to do different missions and all that, and you go to competition. I actually volunteer as a judge for that level of competition. I'm a robot design judge here for Alabama, and I do that every year. And then below that is what's called FLL Junior, which is First Lego League, except for even younger. I think First Lego League Junior ranges from 6 to 12. And it's the same game from what I understand. It's just they've created the division so you don't have middle schoolers versus 8-year-olds.
Okay. Is the skill level pretty significant with those kids? Like, or are there? How does that end up working out? Are they pretty on an even level, or?
There's an actual. I've not judged a junior FLL event yet, but I have judged FLL events, and the skill range that comes from that and what the kids learn is extremely interesting to watch, because you go from a brand new team who's never done this before. They're learning how an if statement works. They're learning how to hook up a color sensor to detect white or black. And then you run into more of a senior team in which they're using overarching parallel programming logic. They're using multiple gyroscopes, accelerometers, to recognize exactly where their robot is, say, if I'm this far away, do this, if I'm this far away, do that, and have a continuous loop in which the robot does everything on its own. They just have to hit, okay, go to the next step when they finish changing out their attachments during the match. The skill range that they learn is massive. And the cool part is, because of this gracious professionalism and we're working as a community, everything that top-level team knows is posted online for the new teams to learn. It's not like, oh, this is our well-kept secret, this is how we win every year. That is not how it is viewed. It is
more open source.
It is completely open source. You want the competitors to do well, because that makes the community as a whole better.
Yeah.
It is about the kids view it as a competition because that's their icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But mentors and teachers, we don't view it. The competition aspect is just icing on the cake for the kids. When we go travel to Houston or we travel to Huntsville to do our competitions there, that's 100% for the kids. It's for them to have a good time. It's to enjoy themselves and all that. Because they've spent 6 weeks working very hard, learning how to work as a team, how to critically think about a problem, how to design mechanisms to do tasks, how to deal with inter-team arguments, and how to come together as a team and work that out. Because one of the things that I push amongst our team is I do not design the robot.
You're just there to maybe help with questions or whatever.
The kids can ask me whatever they want, and I will answer it in black and white. This is worth this many points. This is worth this. This system could possibly work. We need to look more into it. But they choose the design 100%.
That's very cool. Yeah, so they're the stakeholders in the thing, and like, yeah, I think this competition is just like a really well-rounded thing. Like, you get to learn a little bit of a lot of different stuff. Like you said, there's business opportunities in there too. Like, people they do marketing as well, right? So they have to like kind of sell the robot and stuff too, right?
Yes. There's also a marketing team in which it sells your robot to the community, because these teams, as I said, need a lot of funding. I mean, registration cost for your first event is $5,000. And that's without travel. That's just to get the parts to build the robot, to say you're going to a single event.
Yeah.
So you need to be involved with your community. You need to be connected with your community and with people who are able to give money to help fund you. So you have a marketing team who designs a marketing presentation to go out to businesses and say, hey, this is our team. This is what we do. We think you should give us money. And we make our kids go out and present to business leaders, present to people in the community. They work all of our fundraisers. We had a spaghetti fundraiser last night in which the entire team had to be there, and they had to serve spaghetti. They had to meet with the community.
Did they have to cook the spaghetti too?
We didn't make them cook it. That's a side effect of this class. We've come to realize that kids nowadays have trouble with certain things, like existing as a human being. They don't know how to write checks anymore. They don't know how to cook and things like that, or do their taxes, or things that have to happen, or you kind of need to know how to do it as an adult. So we've actually started adulting classes, in which
they can. It's cool if they don't learn the tax thing. They can not do the tax thing. That's pretty good. They're on a good track there.
So we're teaching them how to balance a checkbook, things like that. I'm actually in charge of their cooking classes, so that should be entertaining.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's great. So, yeah, Sunravel Me said their school has a robotics club, and they do some really cool stuff. Yeah. I wish we had one when I was growing up. It was just getting started. We didn't really have a good mentorship during that. So you said it's 6 weeks. So are you there every week in that 6 weeks, every day? Is it an every afternoon thing, or is it like how do you work out your time schedule for that?
Our team meets every night, or meets Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, because we're in the South. Wednesday's church night and Sunday's church day. Okay. So we do Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday day. So we usually meet from 4:30 till 8 during the week. And then on the weekend, we get there about 10 a.m. and stay till 6 p.m.
Wow.
For 6 weeks straight.
That's incredible, man. So, yeah, Sunravel Me, never wrote a check in your life. Nice. They're going away. Like, people aren't using a lot of these things anymore at all. I mean, you don't have to. So, you know.
Until your debit card gets stolen.
Until your debit card gets stolen, yeah.
Apologize. This hits close to home. Debit card got stolen yesterday. Have no access to any of my money.
Oh, no.
Have to go write a check and go to the bank and get it cashed to get some money. So, that is.
Well, the bank just gives you money if you have an account.
My account's in Colorado.
Oh, duh. Yeah, okay. Duh.
So,
All right.
um,
You need to get a bank account here.
thanks for jumping on the bandwagon. You don't think I've heard enough of that this morning?
Never mind. Never mind then. Yeah, Charlie used to live out in Colorado for a little while, and used to be you used to work for a ski resort for a little bit, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I was a janitor.
Yeah. Hey, man, I was a janitor for a while too at the old Walt Disney World.
Oh yeah, no.
It's an experience that it's just like having to clean up other people's shit. It really humbles you.
So,
Okay, so wow, so you guys did or this little school here in Alabama, this little town in Alabama does pretty good at this thing, huh?
yes, we are actually team. When you sign up for first, you're signing up for a team number, and it boils down to you're that number team to sign up. So we are team 538. So we are one of the older teams. We've been doing this for 21 years now.
Wow.
I think we're up to overall team 7,000. So we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been competing for a very long time. And so we've managed to collect quite the amount of spare parts. So when we go to competitions, we end up being the spare parts bin for a lot of teams because we have one of everything.
Wow. So where do they keep all that stuff? They just have a storage building, or just like a trailer that they
have a
shoving
room.
it into.
We have a room over at the high school in which we have that is ours. Mm-hmm. We've recently got moved out of we used to have an old field house, and we got moved into a classroom now, so we had to downsize a lot. But we've got a classroom that we work out of, and we have we got our drills, our drill presses, and things like that. And we're a much smaller team than some of the larger teams in the competition. Some of the teams have full-blown machine shops, 3D, or we've got 3D printers. They've got full CNC machines that they get their entire frame anodized before competition.
Wow.
It's a well-oiled machine when they show up.
Yeah.
But we are not them. We are a small team who's
But you guys
scraps buying what we got.
You guys still give them hell then, huh?
Yes, sir. We do our best, and we've done very well this year, and we plan to continue next year. We've got a very good team with a good base set of skills next year, so I've got a lot of hope for next year as to where we're going to go.
Very cool, man. So, yeah, maybe we could go into some of your other projects and stuff that you've been into. I posted a couple pictures up there earlier, but you competed in college after you got out of high school. You competed in college in something called the Moon Buggy Competition. We're both really close to Huntsville, Alabama, which is where the majority of the U.S. Well, I think it's the highest PhDs per capita. There's a lot of smart people there that do rocket science stuff, but they hold a competition at the Space and Rocket Center there, and they have something called the Moon Buggy Competition, and the college students and I think some high schools compete in this, don't they?
Yes, there are high schools and college competitions. But before we move on, let's ask Professor Bromide's question. Lego League can travel for their competitions. There's usually one in every major city. In each state, there's what are called regionals, which is a 12-team minimum to create a regional. And you can go and compete. And if you win at the regional, then you qualify for your state competition. And if you're at your state competition, you will most likely have to travel. It's usually within one city within the state. In Alabama, everyone comes to Huntsville, which is the standard competition I judge for, is the Alabama state competition. And then if you win at state, you will be qualified for Worlds, in which you will come to either Detroit or Houston. And the one thing to note, the Worlds competition for all 4 FRC events occur at these 2 locations at the same time. So if you go to the FRC Worlds, you can go see the FLL Worlds or the FTC Worlds. They're all there. It's
Do they do live streams of like the different areas too during while
yes,
while you're
there
at
is
the
a total of
competitions?
8 live streams for the FRC event, and I think there's 4 for the FTC and 4 for the FLL when they go on, that are all concurrent. So it is very much a large festival. Guys are posting up clips of BattleBots.
Yeah.
Homage, which got me started on all of this.
Yeah. So that's really fun, man. So
I'm a Ziggo fanboy myself. Back in the day,
would you ever want to compete in one of these things?
100%.
Let's
Would
get
love to.
let's do it, man. Let's get a little robot built and let's go compete sometime.
You know that's the reason we went to Dragon Con, is so I could see that, right?
Oh, really? They do that at Dragon Con?
Yes, they have a Dragon Con, a Robot Wars competition. They do 30-pound weight classes. Their max there, if I remember properly.
So this is a good opportunity maybe for Steam It, actually, to go spread the word of Steam cryptocurrency and maybe go hand out some little 3D printed figurines with a free Steam voucher on them or something, or you pay for a little Steam voucher on a 3D printed figurine. I like the little teapot robot going on. Rondon just posted. I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, some of the other projects that you've done. Let's see. You did that moon buggy thing, and then you also competed in a something called a concrete canoe, right?
Yes.
You want, maybe want to talk about that a little bit. What was that about?
So, once I got out of high school and I moved into college, I began to branch out and do all sorts of other things. I've done as we were saying, what's called the moon buggy competition has now turned into the NASA rover competition, which is a human-powered vehicle competition in which 2 riders travel a 3/4 of a mile course. It is an all-terrain vehicle. It has several obstacles throughout the course that you have to navigate. Which I spent about 7 years leading that team, and then I also competed 1 year in the concrete canoe competition, which is a civil engineering competition in which you build a concrete canoe and you race it. So we did a lot of cool stuff throughout the years on both of those. One of the coolest things that ended up happening is for concrete canoe, we developed a new methodology for curing concrete with carbon fiber reinforcement. Most of the buildings you see here on Earth that are built out of concrete, you'll notice they lay down that steel lattice beforehand and then pour the concrete over it so it hardens. We actually built our robot based off of a not a robot. Y'all got me stuck on
Different
one subject.
projects, yeah.
Different projects. Our canoe off of a carbon fiber reinforcement system. So one of the keys that we took advantage of is when you're making concrete, you add additives to it to affect its cure. You can either speed up the cure, elongate the cure, increase the overall strength, decrease the strength. Of course, both those affect weight. And being a boat, you want it to be pretty light. So we ended up adjusting our concrete itself to contain a lot of plasticizers and plastic in which... So when you went to cure the carbon inside of the structure, the excess epoxy would leach out and bind with those plastics, and instead of having a single reinforcement structure, the plastic would permeate all of the concrete and create a more continuous reinforcement strategy. And
Okay. So most people wouldn't think that you'd want to build a boat out of concrete, but it can work.
Yes, and it works better than most people would think. I mean, you go from the year that we did it, our boat came in at I think it was 180 pounds, which we were the lightweight of the competition. We had the lightest boat there. But then we also were competing against a team from the University of Alabama in Birmingham that came in with an 800-pound boat that took 2.5 teams to lift.
Oh my gosh, man! Wow. Yeah, we had a really interesting professor that John Gilbert, that was an interesting guy with that program at UAH. He ran a class called Strategically Tuned and Absolutely Resilient Structures, which was pretty amazing. and they went into like some serious modeling on all those canoes and different things, and he was a wild dude, man. He supposedly played with like Janis Joplin and like was a big rocker and back in the day, and then got really super interested in engineering and ended up teaching at UAH. But it's guys like that at UAH were pretty fun to work with, and he was an eclectic dude that was over that Concord canoe team. It was pretty cool. But see, Professor Bromide has a question for you. Is there something that a green team can do in the fall to get some practice before January when the game is announced?
That is an interesting question because it boils down to there's two options if you're a completely green team that for you to get more experience. You can come in with in the fall you can do your standard sort of manufacturing training, learn how to use tools, learn how to build things as far as like working with metal. What are the different things you need to do? Do you need to center drill first? You need to punch first? Put A, B, C together. But the primary issue with green teams, like true freshmen, is you will not receive the components to make your robot until you receive your kit, which you can receive on the first day of competition because it comes with the game pieces and they don't want to give anyone a heads up of what it's going to be. So you receive your kit the day the game is announced. So if you would like to gain experience as a rookie team, your best option is to reach out in your area to a more senior team that's there. And as I've stated, send them an email. Be like, hey, we're a new team. We just started up. We've registered. We need help getting ready for competition. And they'll be glad to invite you over, host workshops, explain to you, this is how the control system goes together. This is how you wire it up. And this is how it ends up working. And you can find online the first control system because that is standardized and doesn't change from year to year as far as your robot control module, your PDP, your pneumatic control module, your voltage distribution, your power distribution block, and all of that is similar. So you can do the initial groundwork on that. But as far as putting it together and putting your hands on it, you'll have to find a more senior team that has the equipment there for you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So Rondon says the concrete canoe sounds like an anchor instead of a boat, especially if it's 800 pounds, I would guess. Did it float?
It floated very slowly, but it floated. They had a lot of displacement in their boat, and it took, as far as the race portion of the competition, they did not perform that well.
Yeah.
We did. Our 120 or 150 pound boat did much better than their 800 pound boat.
Moving 800 pounds of boat through the water is a little bit of a task.
Yes. I will say, if you want to get in good shape, join a concrete canoe team. You'll get in great shape real quick.
Yeah. We got my buddy Richard in the background that I had on the podcast earlier too, and they both competed in that concrete canoe, and you got in some wicked good shape during that time.
Yeah. I wish I was still in that shape, but
it was like Spartan 300 close to
the curse of age.
Yeah,
curse of age.
Yeah, speaking of, if you want to go get a drink or something, go for it, man. We've been doing this for almost an hour now. Thank you guys for hanging out. I just want to give a shout out to the audience right now. Thank you, Claiborne. Hey, Crimson Cloud, I just see you joining us. We're talking about FIRST Robotics and robotics competitions, how you can get involved in them. We got Patient Zero here, and we got Peachy Mod, Julia, and we got Rondon, and we got Sunravel Me. And appreciate you guys hanging out for the show. And if anybody has any questions or anything during the chat, during the show, please let it go. Sunravel Me, you have a great one, okay? Have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining us today. And go catch your bus. Thank you. So, yeah, to let you guys know, speaking of Spartan, Here's a little photo of Charlie and me back in the day. We went on a little adventure trip together. This was back when we were coworkers, and this is me kicking Charlie off of where was that? Lookout Mountain in Chattanooga.
Yep.
Yeah. So as you can see, I'm a little bit of a bigger guy, and so I wasn't able to do the hang gliding expedition here. We did not jump off that ramp there. But they towed us on, or they towed the people that went on a ultralight plane. So we made a pact that day that I needed to lose a bunch of weight so we could go back again and do that all over again. Maybe we'll jump off the cliff.
I'll 100% jump off the cliff with you, buddy.
Dude, that is some scary shit. But I definitely want to do some. I think they do camps up there where they kind of train you on how to do everything. Mm-hmm. And I guess if you're gonna go, you just gotta like go for it full tilt like a Peterbilt.
Oh yeah.
That is scary though. If anybody has the opportunity to go to Lookout Mountain in Chattanooga, it's a neat experience to go. How did you like doing the whole hang gliding thing?
It was fun. I am definitely scared of heights, so it was conquering my own fear sort of thing, and it went great until we hit a thermal pocket. And everyone tells you when you hit a thermal pocket, you go up. I didn't have a problem with that, but no one tells you when the hot air goes up, the cold air comes down on the outside. So when you leave the thermal pocket, you drop about 30 feet instantly. And my nerve did not survive that very well.
Holy crap. 30 feet, you just drop.
You just go, whoop, and you are down. Like in like half a second, you drop 30 feet in altitude, and your stomach's in your throat, and I screamed like a little girl, very loudly. Feel bad for my tandem rider.
Was there video of that? Did they take any video of that?
Luckily, it was a GoPro that was set to take a picture every like 3 seconds. So there's no audio. Lucked out there. So.
Yeah, we went on this adventure trip that this guy built his own business to do these adventure trips with adults. So it was like adult summer camp, pretty much. It was a great time, and he did all kinds of ones. But ours, we did like climbing and mountain biking, and then we did whitewater rafting and hang gliding and caving, and it was a really good time. So. I think one of the memorable parts of that trip too was one of the people in our group. We went mountain biking one day, and you caught the film of this, didn't you? You were behind the guy, and the guy did an endo. He did. If you don't know what an endo is, he did an end over. So he went over his handlebars and like did super. Catastrophic collision there at the end.
Oh yeah, no, it was rough. It was a bad day for everybody.
Yeah, so me and Charlie go way back. Man, oh yeah, somebody just posted the what do they call it, wingsuits or something?
Squirrel suit.
Oh my gosh, those guys are nuts. That's something I don't know if I would ever do. That's I definitely wouldn't go as close to the cliffs as those guys go. That is definitely an adrenaline rush right there. But man, it's your birthday tomorrow. So what do you got? What are you drinking here? I see it says birthday.
This is a present from my good
Birthday
buddy David
boy.
Pemberton, and
Oh
he
my
bought
God.
me the birthday boy Kolsch.
And it's a unicorn.
It's a unicorn with a rainbow mane, and it has some balloons and a birthday present box that's been ripped open. And it has a to and from. See, to Chuck from Gay David. So.
Gay David. We don't pick on each other at all.
No, not at all.
So, Charlie's been a really good buddy of mine for a long time. And, today this is our little setup that we got going on right here. We got DEFCON 1 going over at his place. He's got some people coming over later today, and we're just hanging out, having a good time. Unfortunately, you can't see the rainbow unicorn on
We
the
can fix that. We can fix that.
on the beer there. So I should have asked you to grab me a beer while you stepped up there. For
Oh,
a
I
minute.
can go grab it. But
So yeah, that's a little bit about what Charlie is about. Yeah, I got one of those IPAs in there. I found one of those at a little gas station in Alabama. That's it's in a little country gas station. They have they also sell guns and ammo in there. So that's kind of a little bit of a tradition with Charles's birthday. Is that I remember one of his birthdays. One of the first times I came over to his place over here was the only way I found it was hearing the gunshots. So there's usually fireworks and different things that go on, and it's always a good time. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the competition. So we got some pictures here of some of the kids in the competition
and so
this year.
chat, we're beginning to get to the point now that we sort of meander in our discussions. So if there is anything you would like to know more information about in my history, whether it be moon buggies, model rockets, concrete canoes, robotics, UAVs, feel free to chime in and tell me what you want to hear about, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll pull up one of those older pictures of you in high school.
Oh,
They got plexiglass on these things, man, so they got parts flying sometimes, huh?
oh yes, no. The rules are designed so that you do not destroy other robots, but things do occur. One of my favorite stories from when I was actually on the team. So I told you this is gracious professionalism. You're supposed to help everybody, but you can't help from creating rivals from time to time.
Yeah.
And depending on the year and the age group, the rivals change. The team that I'm mentoring now, they have a rival. I won't say who it is since it's current. But when I was back in school, we had a rival as well, which was Team 1414 I Heart Robotics out of Atlanta, Georgia. And to this day, I have a piece of one of their robots. I keep it as a memento.
This is like one of those things where the frat houses steal the statues or something, huh?
Yes, it is very much sort of that. The rivalries develop of major events. 1414 ended up when I was in school. We always went to the Peachtree Regional in Atlanta, and no matter what, every year 1414 always was assigned to defend us during competition.
Oh man, you just gave yourself away. Now they know.
Oh, they know. They know. I promise. There was no. So the first 2 years we ended up, they'd defend us, and their arm would get caught up in our arm, and we'd break their arm off, and all of that. And so my senior year, there was a game. At the end of the game, you got bonus points for robots being 12 inches above the ground. And our robot deployed, basically, we were a parking garage. We deployed a ramp on one side and a level on the other side, and robots drove on top of us to get above that 12 inches. Well, they came over and would not get far enough away for us to deploy our ramps because they were trying to defend us to prevent those points. So I sent the ramps down, and when it came down, we had auto-deploying legs, and one of our legs went straight through their electronics board and the piece of plexiglass above it to protect it. And so I've got a piece of that plexiglass upstairs in my room right now that I've held since that day that I broke off of their robot. So...
Oh man, that's funny, man. So cheers, Team Humble. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're having a kind of a great laid back conversation with one of my old buddies. That's he's real big into helping out the first robotics competitions in the U.S. and we're kind of going over some of his experiences with that and some of his past. So I posted a picture of that was your high school team this year, huh?
Yes, this is the drive team from this year's competition with our robot. This is actually at the Huntsville Regional. This is them in queue for a match.
So how many of them are on a team there?
The team can be any size. The drive team is 5 members.
Okay.
So our team is 15 people. We compete against teams with up to 100 kids on a team.
Wow.
So
So you're five people.
15 children,
15.
3 mentors, 2 teachers. So
Okay.
we have myself, who is the mechanical mentor. We have another individual, Drew Wissenat, who is my B-Boop mentor. And then we have a machinist who helps us, Dave Mahan.
Okay. So if you don't know what he means by B-Boop, we went over that earlier, but that's all the electronics parts of the thing. So,
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about. We covered a little bit about. Did we talk about how you could become a volunteer with this
I
thing?
think we got started and I got distracted. So,
Okay.
for anybody listening who would love to get involved in teaching children electronics, mechanics, or if you just want to help this program out and if you don't know any of that, there's still ways you can help these teams out.
Programming as well, right?
Yes,
If you know
programming.
some programming, we have a lot of programmers here for
Yes.
cryptocurrency on Steam.
For this competition, you're allowed to program in anything, but the official languages they support are Java, C++, and LabVIEW. Now, we
Okay.
programmed in Python this year. So you
Okay.
can go outside of those 3 main languages if you want to. First just doesn't offer support if you choose to.
Okay. Gotcha.
So-
So you could use your own programming language, but you're not going to get any help from
Like if you go to
other
competition,
teams
you're
or
having trouble connecting to the field or connecting to their system, they aren't going to be able to help you connect to their system.
Okay, so there's a little bit for everybody to help out with this thing.
Yes,
There's a little bit for anybody with a range of skill sets to try to get involved if they want.
and if you're not technical and you don't have that bone in your body and you're more of a planner, a project or a event planner or something like that, you can help with events. You don't have to mentor a team individually. So if you go to firstinspires.org and go to volunteers, you can register to volunteer here, and it'll go in, and there is a background check they do run to make sure that
You're not a creep.
you're not a creep, for lack of a better term. But then you can volunteer to help a team. It'll get you in contact with a local team. Apparently they're in maintenance right now, so I can't show you the next step. I apologize. But you can volunteer for an event. You can volunteer to serve cookies and water at a first Lego League event. You can volunteer to be the organizer. You can volunteer to judge. Because, as I stated earlier, judging is not just the robot. We also have core values judges, team spirit judges, project judges for some of the lower levels. So, along with FLL, besides building a robot, they have to perform a research project. So, First is transferred over to themed games recently. So this year's theme was space. Next year's theme is architecture. So, like the first Lego Leagues and the first Junior Lego Leagues, they have to do a research project. How would you improve this industry? So this year it was space. So during the FLL competition, I judged certain teams presented. Well, they had the idea of making new workout equipment for the astronauts, so they don't suffer as much muscle atrophy in space. Another group did how to better recycle water on the space station, so the astronauts have more water to drink. Another one did waste management and how to make sure they can use waste to help grow food and help feed the astronauts. And so you can judge that sort of thing as to the different research projects they have. You can also volunteer to be a judge for core values, in which the team will come into a room and they'll be faced with a challenge they had no idea about. This year's FLL state competition, they were given a box of different what's the logs? Lincoln Logs.
Lincoln Logs.
And we're told build a robot to manipulate basically a paper disc in 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And everyone knows that task is impossible. There's no way to do that. It just doesn't work. But you're not judging if the kids complete the task. You're judging how do the kids work together well as a team? Do they communicate? Do they talk over each other? Do they infight? And you judge that aspect of how well they work together versus how well they complete the task.
That's really cool. I think it would be interesting actually to get cryptocurrency involved. Like so they do sponsorships
Yes.
and stuff. So say Steam could possibly sponsor a robotics something. They could have a booth or something like that something like that.
100%. So they do offer booths at competitions where major donators can have a booth to demonstrate their product, and we also have volunteer booths and things like that. But you can donate. As far as donations go, you can reach out to your local teams if you don't want to donate to First as a whole, and donate to individual teams and sponsor individual teams. Because FRC, as I said, is the most expensive one. FLL is much cheaper, but you still, for the brain of the robot and the basic kit is still, I think, $600. I think it's $600 for the kit and then $300 for the registration. So $900 overall to start an FLL team. And once you start the FLL team, going into the next year, you'll have to pay the $300 registration fee.
Okay. Are there people that are in these robotics competitions? Are any of them familiar with cryptocurrencies?
Most likely not, honestly, because as you guys know, cryptocurrency is a very up-and-coming new technology that you guys have gotten behind, and I don't even know half as much as you guys do. So, but I know in my robotics team in particular, I was asked to explain how cryptocurrency works 2 or 3 times this season alone.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because these kids are interested in learning and everything else, they've heard of cryptocurrency and asked how it works and how...
Yeah.
They didn't understand how the algorithms work as to why you can't just copy and paste a Bitcoin to make more Bitcoins.
Yeah.
And so I had to go through and explain the process of the algorithm, how it evolves each time, and how each Bitcoin is unique and cannot be duplicated.
Yeah.
So
you do know something about it.
I know a little bit. I know a little bit about it, but not a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So you guys were mentioning some movie up here that sounds interesting. Terminator Dark Fate. Okay. So that's a new Terminator movie coming out. That's cool. Oh, don't do that. Just copy copy the link.
You lead the way. You lead the way.
Copy the link. All right.
Do you know the way?
I know the way. Do you know the way? Do you know the way of the devil? VR chat. This is awesome. I haven't done VR chat, but there is a big thing on cryptocurrency VR chat that's happening here with a... one of you guys Crimson mentioned it last show. I can't remember what their name is. Maybe somebody can mention that. But there is a big VR thing that's happening through Steemit that is pretty cool. So how cryptocurrency works T-shirt. That's cool. Yeah, that would be a pretty cool T-shirt. So yeah. That would be neat. The Bitcoin white paper on a T-shirt. There you go.
You'd be surprised at how many people...
Just put a QR code to the Bitcoin white paper. That would be kind of neat. Yeah.
I mean, I've had to explain it. I mean, as I said, I don't know as much as you guys do, but I mean, at my old job as a test engineer, I was asked 2 or 3 times to explain it to my manager and people like that who were looking to invest because they had no idea what it was or how it worked.
Well, okay, Crimson Clad, she's still got a little bit of recovery to do there. So sorry, we got friends in the background that are getting prepared for somebody else's birthday party. So
I think it's my birthday party. It is yours.
Oh yeah, okay. But they're also going to somebody else's birthday party and then coming back here. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and so there's stuff going on in the background and stuff. So yeah, that's funny. You guys you guys don't have to be that silent or this kind of free floating thing. But
Say hey, Lacey.
So hey, we got Lacey. All right, we got some avocados, or what is this? Guacamole. Nice.
Hi, everybody.
This is our friend Lacey and Richard, and yeah, they're getting everything prepped in the background. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. All right, Crimson Clad, I'm sorry I called on you. I did not know your state of awareness right now. I think it did pop in my head. Did somebody else? I think somebody else mentioned it. I think it's deluxe.io. Nobody else mentioned it. Okay, deluxe.io is the people that are doing the all that stuff. Yeah, Julia is right. Most people hate reading the white papers. Yeah. So really, it needs to be like an infographic. We need some infographics on some T-shirts or something on how cryptocurrency works or something. So okay, yeah. So this new Terminator movie. Oh, they got one of the actresses from the original movie to come back, Linda Hamilton. Cool, very cool. That'll be interesting. I don't know. I haven't seen a movie in a long time. I haven't seen a Hollywood movie in a while. So, So yeah, hopefully we can get. Awesome. Julia says hi, Lacey and Richard. So yeah, we got a pretty intimate little crew here on MSP Waves, and pretty awesome group of folks here. That I always love hanging out with these people. It's really great. Dalio, thank you for joining. I didn't catch you earlier, but thank you for joining here. Why have pancakes when you can have waffles? I do agree. I really like waffles.
Sir,
I'm a fan of waffles and donuts.
We're gonna have to fight over this. Pancakes win, hands down.
We used to have Saturday morning pancakes in my family, and that was a good thing when I was growing up. So
pancakes are where it's at.
Yeah, so that's great. Waffles, I can go both. I especially like waffles when you put like the strawberries on them, and you put the whipped cream on top. You can tell we're getting hungry because we're all talking about food right now. Bacon pancakes. Richard's a big fan of bacon pancakes. I am also a big fan of bacon pancakes. That is a good deal. I like breakfast foods in general. All right, so I'm gonna post another picture. So this is you and you don't have the mohawk this time.
No.
And who's the guy standing beside you?
So that is one of the students, Heath. He is. So one of the benefits of First is we actually have a scholarship program set up for the kids. There's over I think it's something like $1.5 million worth of scholarship money now that goes out each year through First. And that picture is actually.
We got we got Team Humble level up. That's a cheers. We got a cheers.
We got a cheers to that?
Yeah, drink.
Cheers!
Cheers, Team Humble.
Team Humble!
Leveled up.
So, we have different scholarship programs set up. The one that picture comes from is actually called the Dean's List. And that is a high honorary award for students within the First organization that represent the fundamentals of First, the gracious professionalism, the team building sort of mentality, and that is our nominee this year, whose actually birthday was last night.
Wow! There's a lot of May birthdays. I got my mom. I got you.
Apparently,
I got a good friend of ours is also having a birthday today, and a lot of May babies. So what would that timeline? What's
November.
That timeline be? Yeah, just when it's starting to get cold. Yeah, so you're getting
what else are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You gotta make some babies. So yeah, so that's great. Yeah, so yeah, what are your other hobbies right now, man? Like what do you like to work on now other than doing the volunteering for the robotics and everything?
Well, I'm currently catching up on sleep, but besides that, I just got my boat motor rebuilt. I'll be going out fly fishing here. I was hoping this weekend, but the weather's looking garbage all weekend. So I'll be going fly fishing here shortly.
Oh, did you get into fly fishing when you're in Colorado? Or
I've always been into fly fishing, man.
oh man, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, no, man. I've been fly fishing since I was 8.
Oh wow, did your dad do that a lot?
My dad and my grandfather taught me. We're not as fancy as the people out west who go on the fast-flowing rivers. We do the redneck fly fishing.
What does that involve? How do you do that?
You get a flat bottom boat with a horsepower with some motor on it, and you set up one person in the front, one person in the middle, one person in the back. You're all fly fishing, and you wait till the willow bugs come out. I think common people or normal people call them mayflies. So all the mayflies hatch and come out, and it causes all the fish to switch over to top hitting. And so you go down with an oar and you hit the trees to get all the mayfly fish flying. And then you come back with the trolling motor and you fly fish where the mayflies have fallen out and all the fish are hitting. So I'm a redneck fly fisherman.
Dude, that's awesome. I want to go out with it. I want to go out with you guys sometime. Patient 0 leveled up. Oh no, never mind. He just showed his rank. Okay. Oh, Julia is the master of us all. Level 80. Wow. I am jealous of that level.
I feel like I was just called out. Like,
damn.
I feel like that is calling people out right there. Level 80, come at me, bro. That's what I read that as.
Team Humble, we need kids making bots that pull CO2 out of the skies. Hey, man, I mean, trees. Just plant some more trees, brother. You know? That's plants breathe CO2. Yeah, we actually give plants life. How about that? What we breathe out is giving plants life. So that is a funny gift.
So
it's like Agent Smith or something. Yeah, Cypher. I love The Matrix. I just have to say that right now.
it's a great movie. Great movie.
So, this is one of the This was one of the videos from the competition. Were there any other videos from that thing?
Yes,
that you wanted to show.
So this is the Blue Alliance is the go-to information stash. It's where if you play, excuse me, if you play fantasy football, this is where you go. It has the stats for every team in
robotics.
In First Robotics.
History?
Has all their stats.
All of them archived.
All the history, yeah. So if you go to our team 538.
Uh-oh. You did something.
I accidentally touched your screen. I didn't realize you were touch screen also.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
So if you go to team 538, which is the Arab Dragon Slayers, which...
The Dragon Slayers.
Yes. From Arab, Alabama. Rookie
Epic.
year 2001.
Nice.
So... It shows us this year, which is we were the Woody Flowers finalist in the Rocket City Regional, and then we went on the Newton division of the Houston,
So that means you were the first in the state.
No.
Or you were a finalist in the state.
We were the finalist in the state.
You made it to the finals in the state.
And then once we made it to Worlds, we won more matches than anybody else in Alabama. So you can come up here and you can click. You can go to our 2018 season. Which was bad day. It was a bad day. It was a rough time last year. We did the Smoky Mountain Regional and the Rocket City Regional. We didn't win any awards, but I mean, this goes
Smoky
all the way
Mountain
back.
Regional, is that's Tennessee? I guess.
Yes, that took place in Knoxville last year.
Okay, so you have the opportunity to go out to other states and
to
compete
multiple
as well?
regionals. Yes, there's 6 weeks of regionals, and you can go to as many as you want to in that time frame.
As many as your team fundraise for or something can afford.
Each regional is $5,000 basically.
Mm-hmm.
When it boils down to it,
just to have the opportunity. To get everybody a hotel and all that stuff.
Yes. Let me go take care of Penny.
All right, yeah. So, all right, let me catch up with chat here. We have a lot of stuff going on in chat. So let's see. Krim is 100 level. There you go. You deserve the 100, Krim. You are awesome. All right, so let's see. Peachy Krim is gonna leave too early. So yeah. So what do you guys think about this? Phil Campbell. Yeah, that's an area in Alabama. I haven't been there, but I am familiar with the name. But Team Humble, your name is Phil, isn't it? I can't remember. But yeah. Yeah, we're just hanging out, having a good time. Pundito, I see you. We're talking in the Big Bang. Thank you for joining. This morning, I have a good buddy of mine that does some volunteer work for a organization called First Robotics, and he's talking about how you can get involved in that and some of the competitions they do with some of the high school students in the country. And yeah, one of the other questions I was going to ask him is maybe how they get involved with how maybe homeschoolers or private schoolers can get involved with this organization as well, or if it's just open to public school kids, or we might have gone over that earlier. Do you know, like, homeschool kids or anybody that can pretty much like raise the funds can kind of compete in this, right?
Yes, that is correct. It is not limited to school functions and things like that. A lot of first teams are actually area-based, in which 3 or 4 high schools team together to compete. And most teams will accept. So say you have a homeschool child and your local high school has an FRC team. Most FRC teams would be willing to accept a homeschool child onto their team. It is not... We are not set up to be exclusive. Everyone and anybody is invited to come in and compete and participate. It is not meant to be inclusive. So I know there are several, usually, as I said, FRC teams usually cover 3 or 4, can cover an area and cover 3 or 4 high schools and anyone in that area. But I know there are several FLL teams, because they're usually smaller teams that are purely homeschool-based communities who've started an FLL team or an FLL junior team or a FRC tech team.
Okay. Man, that's awesome. Yeah, so if you're just joining the chat here, the Big Bang asked what the topic was. We were talking about robotics, and my buddy does volunteer work with the First Robotics that happens in the U.S. Now, does First expand to other countries as well?
Yes, actually. First has now become international. We have teams in Germany, China, Israel, Mexico, Brazil. Anyone in the world is allowed to compete. It is. I think we're now up to. I think there's actually regionals based in Europe now. Our team is kind of. We specialize in helping out foreign teams at competitions. First calls upon our team to help because we have several Spanish speakers. We help out the Brazilian teams a lot. Or I apologize. The Brazilian team speaks Portuguese, and we also have Spanish speakers on the team, so we help the Mexico teams compete.
Hispanic teams and all that?
Yes. I actually was given a shirt from one of the Mexico teams at the last competition because I helped.
Yeah?
I taught...
Cinco de Charles.
I taught their team how to do pneumatic systems through a language barrier in which they didn't speak English and I don't speak Spanish. So
no kidding.
It was a very interesting time how to explain how pneumatic systems work and how pressure release valves work and how they need to be set and that sort of thing without having the tool of being able to communicate. So
no kidding. How did you do? How did that work out? How did that work?
A lot of hand motions and a lot of time.
Communication.
Yes, it was very interesting because they'd taken a stab at it on their own. And they'd gotten very close. They were very close to getting everything working, but they had reversed their regulator direction so that instead of building up their high side pressure, it was always releasing at 60 psi. And then also they had a lot of trouble setting their emergency relief valve blow off because they didn't understand how it worked. So explaining that this device sits here with a spring, and until you reach a certain pressure, it stays closed. But once you reach a certain pressure, it allows air to flow out so you don't overpressurize your system and blow something up.
Oh,
it was
man.
a very, very difficult topic
to get across. Yeah.
Yes.
Other than, I mean, you got visual stuff is so powerful, especially I think with people that build things and hands-on are very visual too. Do you think?
Oh yes, 100%. Teaching I can explain to a kid 1,000 times how to measure and be accurate and drill it, but until they go and do it themselves, they're not going to remember it.
Yeah, that's absolutely, especially true for myself. So in the chat, we got the Big Bang says his son did Arduino for about 3 minutes. Hey man, if he could focus for 3 minutes, that's pretty decent. That's pretty decent, you know.
Oh yeah,
It shows he's a little bit interested in it. Team Humble said his daughter really loved making something on a laser cutter. That's awesome. That's really awesome. The Big Bang said that it was a manual circuit board, resistors, LEDs. That's cool, man. That's great. That's like I kind of envision myself. You know, I'd love to have kids someday and teach them how to build things and how to do all that kind of stuff. And my ultimate goal, I guess, is to be able to teach my grandchildren how to build anti-gravity machines. So. So that's great. Let me give a shout out to some more of the people that joined the show. We got Toriko Avocado Bunny, as Toriko is going by right now, and then we got Pandito. If I didn't mention you, the Big Bang, I mentioned you a couple times, so thank you, Toriko. If you want to blow something up, we had an experience doing that, didn't we?
Which time?
We actually in the history of working together. Were you there when we did the ammonium nitrate fuel oil explosions with the ATF?
Yeah.
We in our past life, one of our past life, we worked as test engineers together, and we did a little bit of work with the ATF at one point in time, and we were able to do a detonation of ammonium nitrate fuel oil explosions, and that was an experience to do the countdown and then to feel the pressure wave after the explosion and all that stuff. That was wild. So, Toriko, if you want to blow something up, we can make something happen for you. You know,
Blowing up might be part of my specialty, but
it will be in a controlled environment, though. So, you know, down here in Alabama, you know, we can kind of do we do some stuff. We get to do some experiments and things like that. So, especially with my land that I'm moving to. I'll have some room. I'll have a little bit of room to do some experiments and stuff like that. Yeah, anti-grav would work out, Team Humble. You get it. Team Humble gets it. He gets it. Charles is looking at me like I'm crazy, but you know, we're getting there. We're gonna get there.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, there you go. The Big Bang knows what's up. He gets it. Big Bang gets it. Toriko, yeah, the pentagram. They do a lot of explosion things. I'm on every list, Patient Zero. I'm probably on every list. For sure, I'm on all those lists. I'm not scared of the list.
If you aren't on a list at this point,
you're doing something wrong. Absolutely. So this is awesome. So let's see. We got some more.
What picture? I mean,
you've
been through most of the embarrassing pictures I gave you.
Maybe we got through all the embarrassing photos. Yeah. So this is This is maybe the whole team of photos. Yeah. Let me see if we can get this. Let me see if we can get this one uploaded here so that you guys can see all this stuff. Oh, this is a close-up of the robot.
That's me, and that's the robot selfie that I took this year.
This is you and that robot, so you guys can kind of see a little bit about how intricate this thing was.
Yeah.
And then, okay, big picture of the team together.
Yeah.
Let's get that one in there.
Okay, so.
Team Humble wants to know if it makes bagels.
If it makes bagels?
Yeah.
Not yet. We can. It It would not be outside of my kid's realm of expertise to make an automatic bagel machine. That would not be the most difficult thing we've done so far. Because, like, one of the things that we're working on right now for next year is we're working on visual targeting systems and identifying things via cameras. So most of the targets on the playing field usually have a reflective tape on it for vision sensors. So you put a colored light on your robot, and you can make cameras detect that reflection of that color and use it to identify where you are on the field relative to targets. So my kids are currently working on figuring that out. We're also working on what's called swerve drive.
What is that?
So as I said when I showed the video earlier, Mecham Drive allows you to shift left, right, or drive left, right, forward, back, and then rotate. One of the issues with swerve drive is when you get pushed, because the manufacturing of the wheels, if you want to Google Mecham wheels over here.
All right.
Part of the manufacturing method and how they work is it works off vectors, 45 degrees, 2Cs. Vectors of the wheels. So they basically, the wheels have rollers on them. So when you get pushed, you don't have a lot of torque to fight back. Swerve wheels allow you to, apparently it is 1C. Oh,
Yeah, I got it.
there you go. That's what we're looking for.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
So as you can see, they're basically wheels with rollers set at 45 degrees. So based on how you put the input, you can shift left, right, forward, back. But when you get pushed, there's nothing really to resist that pushing. So swerve drive, what that does is put a standard wheel with a standard drive on it, but it allows it to rotate 100 or 360 degrees. So that whenever you say want to turn left, instead of just shifting left, your wheels actually turn left, then drive left. So
yeah, so you could. How does it drive each? Does it drive each roller?
Each wheel is independent. No, so it drives each wheel independently, and you have them set up. So there is a If you look at this robot here,
but they can roll. They can allow you to roll bi-directionally or something. So
yeah, so when you drive a wheel, instead of creating... So the acceleration vector on these wheels is not directly ahead like on your standard car. It's actually at a 45-degree angle. Yeah. So if you go to... Yeah, go ahead and save that and post that. And then
do that, yeah.
And go to this bad boy that has them on. This robot down here.
This little robot right here?
So if you notice, the orientation of the wheels, they're set up so that they counteract each other. So when I drive all the motors forward, all the 45-degree components cancel out to equal a direct forward. So if I want to go to direct left, these drive backwards, these drive forward, and drive me straight left. If I want to go right, these drive forward, these drive backwards, it drives me straight right.
That is awesome. I've seen them on forklifts and stuff like that, and that is an incredibly inventive solution for being able to. But you need a really smooth surface to move around with those things, huh?
Surprisingly, not. It
really?
Is actually at least from our experience, it works really well on carpet and tile and things like that, and it can climb over a lot of stuff really well. But as I said, the only real issue with it is you can get pushed. If someone comes up beside you and wants to push you away from your goal, you don't have a lot of resistance to it because you're just on a roller. Yeah. So what we want to do next year is upgrade.
So it's almost like being on ice.
Close, very close to.
Kind of like being on ice because
so what
you have very little
to...
points of contact. Swerve drive. This is almost like having the flux capacitor.
Yes.
Swerve
so
drive. Holy crap! This thing looks complicated.
So this is an image of what swerve drive looks like.
Yeah, if you want to save that and throw that in that robotics thing, then we can show that with the Discord audience. You might have to...
Can I do it this way?
Possibly. Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Okay.
You just taught me something. All right, that's cool.
So there is the basic setup of a swerve drive. So what that does...
Holy shit, that looks complicated.
Yes, it is. So this is what we're working on figuring out right now. So the motor on the left, the cylinder you see, actually provides the forward motion, and it sends it to an axle that drops down through a bearing here, and then it transfers via a what's the word I'm looking for? The 45 degree
CV axle?
No, the 45 degree bearing or the word that I've forgotten.
Thrust bearing or something?
No, give me a minute while I Google. But
all right, Big Dog. Somebody posted a picture of Big Dog stumbling around. Yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah, so what's the advantage of that drive? Yeah, what do you get out of that?
So what that allows is it gives you that left to right shift that you have the ability of, and it also gives
without
you
being
can
able
drive
to be pushed around
360 directions without them being able to push you around. It allows you to have that traction and allow that force feedback so that you can push people around. So it gives you freedom of motion in all directions and allows you to push people around. Because in the match I showed you, it didn't show obviously, but defense is actually a very huge part of this game.
Oh, let's see. You may have opened a new browser. I don't know if that's going to show up in
okay.
the
Okay, I can go back to the other one.
Streaming software.
Back to this one?
Yeah.
FRC.
Wow, that's really interesting. So, it is a very specialized niche for that type of system, then.
Yes.
I gotcha. But you guys are going to try to pull that off next time.
Yes, we need about $3,000
$3,000
to buy enough to do all of it.
So do you have a do you guys have a fundraising page or anything like that you'd like to talk about?
Do
you guys like have they got involved in like a Kickstarter or anything like that?
We have not. The reason for that is because of school policy. We cannot participate in any such event. We're in the process of creating a booster club,
which would be able to raise funds,
which would be able to take advantage of that sort of
situation.
situation.
Some kind of like nonprofit organization or something like that for the robotics team or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
This is Einstein Houston Championships.
Very cool. So Charles is looking up some videos of the competition, I guess, this year.
Yes, this is the finals from Houston that I just pulled up. This is Einstein match 7. So this should be one of the final matches here.
So they had to pick up the balls and be able to chunk them into little containers.
Put them into the slots here, or put them into the
Lots of action already happening over here in the red end
into the rockets on the side. So this is Einstein match 7. So Einstein's the final field. So this is one of the final matches. And as you can tell, as I was stating, defense, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner right now, is a large part of this competition. As you can see, the blue robot hanging out on the red side of the field trying to prevent scoring from occurring. So that is kind of why we want that ability, is so we can push people around and we can be pushed and not have to worry about getting pushed around.
Okay, so are all those robots using that Mecum drive?
Mecum drive? No. Mecum drive is something unique that is developed amount. Approximately probably 30 to 50% of the teams run with Mecum drive. Bevel gear. That is the word I'm looking for. I apologize earlier. It's a 45 degree bevel gear which transfers the motion from vertical to horizontal to drive the wheel.
Okay, so there's these center containers they can throw them in, but there's also these rocket-looking ones where they can try to put those in there as well, huh?
Yes. So the center is what's considered the cargo ship, and you're loading that up to quote-unquote send back to Earth with science. The rockets are the another vehicle that are heading back to Earth. At the beginning of the match, the cargo ship already has hatch panels applied, which are the yellow and black discs you see on the front of the cargo ship there. The rocket ship does not come with those, so you have to place those before you place cargo. So you can place additional, you have to place the hatch panel and then the cargo to score points in the rocket ships.
Wow.
1678's lifting their partners on the outriggers. They're getting up high. 50-26 and 970.
This is not Einstein Houston.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, maybe if you guys missed some of the discussion there, that you get like extra points, I guess, for putting them in the spaceship than the regular cargo areas or something, right? So we muted the video so we can maybe explain it a little better.
Yes.
So yeah, is that how that works? You got more points for throwing the balls into the spaceship areas than the.
You did not get. You got more points because you placed a hatch and a cargo. But they were worth the same. The balls themselves are worth this. So you get 2 points per hatch and 3 points per ball. So we're dropping frame.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, we may not be able to do like the full screen showing of all that stuff. So
I apologize.
sorry about that, guys. Let me see. Let me check my software here. It still doesn't say I'm dropping any frames, but I know that that's gonna be probably overloading maybe my graphics or something like that. So apologize about that, but yeah, maybe we can't show that full screen or anything like that, or maybe we can close some tabs here and be able to show you guys all that stuff. So yeah, this is really neat. So you guys are. You don't have any way to do the direct fundraising, but
if you are interested in helping out my team, Team 538, you can email me, and I can get you in contact with the correct people. But there are also, I guarantee, there are teams in your area that would greatly appreciate your support if you would be interested in supporting. Or if you just want to donate time. We always need volunteers at competition. We need cuers. We need field resetters. We need judges.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Rondon. We're pause the video and everything like that. Hopefully, we're back live and no problems or anything like that. So, sorry about that. It looks like I probably need a pretty good, maybe a better desktop or something to do the live streams and to be able to share the videos and stuff like that at all times. But Tariko, you got to get back to work. Thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate you being here. And yeah, let's see. All right, if you'd like to reach out to Charlie, that's his email. And if you got any questions or anything about FIRST Robotics, I know Professor Bromide sounds like one of his daughters is involved in the robotics program. So if you guys got any questions about that, then Charles said, free to reach out to him. So
I can get you in contact with someone who can
answer your questions,
or I can most likely answer your questions also.
Been involved with the program for a little while.
Yes, I have drank the Kool-Aid of this program for a long time, and I 100% believe that everyone needs to be involved in that. This program is helping shape our future.
Yeah.
And in the next 20 or 30 years, all of our engineers will be coming out of this program.
Very cool, very cool. Hey, Big Bang, I see you got to go. Thank you for joining as well. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I know, we got a lot going on in the background here. If anybody has any questions, feel free to bring them up, and we will field them. And so what is it that would you like to maybe keep just volunteering for the local high school kind of thing, or when are we gonna build our robot?
We're gonna build our robot. My kids would love to help build a BattleBot, 100%.
Okay.
So right now, the off season really for me is from now until the fall, We have a few projects over the summer that we're going to be working on, building the lift mechanism, or building the elevator, building the Lazy Susan, building a T-shirt cannon robot, and a few other little side projects we have going on. Besides that, in the fall right now, it's looking like we're actually going to be starting multiple FLL teams in the area, and so they have volunteered me to help with that. So,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, we should definitely do a battle bot, dude. That would be really cool. And if anybody wants to, maybe that could be. I can get you set up with a Steam account, and then we could get a battle bot build going on. That would be really cool. So what do you guys think about this? Like, I see Delio says that would be really cool to do when she was in high school. She asked, what was the girl-to-boy ratio in the program?
That is actually a very interesting statistic based on the team. Most teams are predominantly male with some female interaction, but our team is one of the few that is. We're approaching right now, I'd say, 60% to 40% female to male. So our females currently outnumber our males quite heavily, and a lot of the girls are actually leaning towards...
The girls outweigh the guys?
Yes, the girls outweigh the guys, and they're leaning towards... My mechanical team next year is predominantly girls, as far as a lot of the guys are going to the more... As I said, our team is divided into two groups. They're going to more of the B-boops, and most of the girls are coming to the hard side with me. So... It's interesting, and I mean, as far as like age range as well, our freshman girls are much more. One of the problems with this is I only teach the kids what they would like to learn. So if a child is afraid of power tools or does not want to participate with power tools, I will not force their hands. So most of the girls who are coming up as freshmen, they're all extremely interested. Hey, I want to learn how to use a drill. I want to learn how to build this. I want to learn how to put all this together. And all of my male participants they're afraid of power tools. I have one individual that I've been working with all year. He will not touch power tools because he doesn't want to, and I don't force him to.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting dynamic that I'm running into now compared to when I've done it in the past. Most of the teams I've mentored in the past have been male-dominated, for lack of a better term. But this is one of the first teams I've been a part of that has been as the female side of it has outweighed the male.
So that's like, so you think maybe the demographics are changing a little bit, or this is just like the first year you've seen that happen?
I think the demographics are changing. I think a lot of them, I think it's becoming a lot more of, it's not a boys club. Anyone is welcome.
Or girls like really like to get into like going and doing the techie side stuff. They're getting more into it a little bit, you think?
I think it plays into the more artistic side of things.
They're not getting called nerds and stuff, and getting maybe a little shunned for doing that kind of stuff. Because I remember when we were going through engineering school, it was mostly dudes. It was like you might see one or two one or two girls pop up here and there, but it was mostly guys.
It is becoming more, especially on my team. I think it is more because of. It is not. Nothing on our team is divided, and we as mentors fight to make sure that remains a thing. Like any child who wants to learn mechanical, I'll teach mechanical to. I'll teach them how to run a drill, run a bandsaw, run all this. How you need to think about how you're going to build stuff. It comes from a mentor level. Kids learn from their parents. If a kid grew up in a household in which the man does this, the woman does this, they're gonna think that. It's until they get exposed to the fact that no, everyone can do everything, that they're going to accept that methodology and accept that ideology.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So Yeah, this is really great. And what's so in the next year, you guys got plans on doing some unique drives and pushing the envelope a little bit. So how long is it the same team composition throughout high school? How do people get on the team? Do they have to like try out like you get on a varsity team or something like that?
The only part that you considered to get on the robotics team, you have to sign up. Our team has a conduct contract that the kids have to sign, which boils down to you are not going to cheat in school. You're going to keep your grades up. You are not going to do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You are signing up for the random drug testing lottery. That's how the Arab System School does it. All sports teams, everybody, you get put into a lottery. X people get pulled, and you're signing up for your name to be in the lottery.
Okay.
Besides, and you're going to treat your teammates with respect, and your teachers with respect, and you're going to be a decent human being. Is basically what you're agreeing to.
Okay.
And if you break the law, if you break that contract and you cheat, do drugs, become a bully, or...
So you can stay on the team as long as you don't break that contract?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And so it's basically saying, I'm going to be a decent person and you can be on the team.
Rondon says he would mercilessly berate a man that wouldn't touch a power tool. I kind of have the same sentiment.
He is still a child. We're working on it. We're working on it. He's not a man yet.
Yeah, they need an initiation, though, you know?
We're working on it. I spent half the season, he held power tools without batteries in them to get used to the weight. Then we put batteries in them, and he's okay with that. We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it. This is why we need mentors to teach these kids.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I really think that, and that's something that I'm trying to do in my own life is to be able to host workshops and things like that, to be able to share the knowledge and get more people excited about being makers, being builders and doers, and try to, because it is very empowering when you say like being able to know how to build things and solve the problems and things like that. I mean, we both come from the similar background, but
I got a question for you.
All right.
What is the most important thing you need to accept as a maker before you begin a project?
You don't know everything. I mean, you got to learn. It's going to be a learning process. I guess that would be my answer.
Exactly. You're going to make mistakes.
Yeah, you got to be willing to make mistakes, yeah.
Most kids nowadays do not understand that starting a project, when they start a project, they think it's going to end perfectly. They're going to get an A. They have to be shown it's okay to mess up. It's okay to break a tool. It's okay to break a drill bit. It's okay to cut something the wrong length. It's going to happen. And that's what you have to... That's one of the biggest hurdles I have with the kids nowadays is they expect... When they do something, they expect it to be perfect when they're done. Even if they've never done it before. And it's the fact that they have to learn you're going to mess things up in life. It's that simple. And It's not about how bad you mess things up. It's about how well you work with that mistake and move forward from it.
Amen, yeah. Yeah, Crimson Clad says you're fucking cool. So, yeah. And that's some of the thing that I try to say. It's just like, you know, we kind of live in this age where it's like, maybe you're afraid to go and try something, but really it's that kind of fear of failure, like you're talking about. It's that fear of failure that holds a lot of us back from going out and trying to do things. But if you can overcome that fear of failure and just try, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you mess up, you're going to learn in the process, right? You're going to learn and grow from the process, right?
Exactly. People need to learn from their mistakes instead of expecting perfection from the start out. And that's one of the biggest issues I face as a mentor to high school kids is children afraid of making mistakes.
Yeah.
And my argument to them is, this is the time to make it. You're in high school. It doesn't matter. If you set our robot on fire 2 days before competition, give it 10 years. You won't remember it. No one else will. It won't be a big deal. Right now is the time to make mistakes and learn.
Absolutely, yeah. That's one thing that I've had to learn the hard way, and it's it is hard to fight that social social freedom, I guess is what you would call it, right? Like the fear of other people judging you and stuff like that. So if you can get over that, then it'll be a big step in your life to keep moving forward and growing. So
yeah, no, it boils down to the end of the day. All you need to worry about is improving yourself.
yeah,
Doesn't matter if people think you're silly for being out there trying to grow tomatoes out of a hay bale because you heard is a better way to grow tomatoes. You're learning, you're improving yourself, and that's all that matters.
yeah, absolutely. And so we're coming up on the end of the show. We got about 5 minutes left. And Charles, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show, brother. You're awesome.
Anytime.
Love you. I love you, man. And thank you everybody for hanging out. We got Crimson Clad Steam Wave Saturday coming up. She talks a lot about what's going on Steam It, and gives you some good tools and education on how to navigate the Steamiverse, is how I like to say. She's almost I would say she's your hitchhiker's guide to the Steamiverse, and I really like all the information that she gives out to you. So stay tuned for her show. And this has been another week of the Meadows and Makers podcast. I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us today and joining the show. And it's about time for me to sign off. I'm going to play you guys out with a track by Awake and Divine. One more thing before we go. Charles, is there anything else that you'd like to wrap up with today? Anywhere else that people can find you?
The best way to get in contact with me is the email that Greg posted earlier today at charles.t.boyles@gmail.com. That's my personal email. If you want to get involved in First in any way, shape, or form, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure you get hooked up. Or if you have any questions about anything else I've done, shoot me an email. I'm pretty friendly and I don't bite. So just let me know what you need and I'll do my best to take care of you.
All right, man, and a big happy birthday to you. And one last thing. Hopefully, I'm gonna get you hooked up with a Steam account, and maybe we'll be building a robot.
It's gonna be a spinner. It's gonna be a spinner.
Well, thanks again, man, and y'all have a wonderful day. And we'll catch you next week on same time, same place. And thank you all, you wonderful people. Love you all. And you have a wonderful day. All right, peace. All right. I have to use the bathroom. I did my best. You did great, man. It's still live, so they're picking up all this. What the music's playing.
yes, we're still hot mic. I do not know how to turn it off. Senior Greg has walked away and left us in the kitchen with a hot mic.